So one thing that I realised as I sat down to make this video is that I find this one quite difficult because I'm a big fan of both of the projects and they're also offering two different things. So it is quite difficult to compare them in that sense. So the easiest way for me to compare Solana and Internet Computer objectively is to focus purely on just the facts and not my feelings on the individual projects. So we're going to look at it as if I'm going to invest right now, which investment makes more sense financially, rather than I like this project, so I'm going to invest in this one. So when it comes to choosing and where to invest your money, there are a few different factors that you can consider. And the first one that I would like to discuss is the positive sides of both Internet Computer and Solana. So Solana has a number of benefits if you should choose to invest in this, and this includes high speed and scalability. So Solana is able to process, I think it's up to 65,000 transactions per second. So this does make it one of the fastest blockchains on the market. They also offer low transaction fees. So the transaction fees are generally lower than those of other major blockchains such as Ethereum. And they also have a lot of strong partnerships. So Solana has formed partnerships with a number of really high profile companies in the cryptocurrency space. And this does include Chainlink and Serum. They also have a very diverse ecosystem. So Solana has a diverse ecosystem of decentralized applications. So this is including DeFi platforms, decentralized exchanges, and a lot more. Now, the benefits of Internet Computer are really very different. So their vision aims to create more open and decentralized internet, which could have significant benefits in terms of things like privacy, security, and things like that. So they're also very focused on high performance. So this again relates to the speed of the transactions. And Internet Computer also has strong partnerships as well. So they formed a number of partnerships with companies in the cryptocurrency space, including Enzo Finance and Tonic Finance. Now, the one thing that really does make ICP stand out is the unique tokenomics of it. So the token has a unique structure that could help to drive the adoption and demand of this. Okay, so another factor to consider when you are choosing to invest, and this is to take a look at what the projects are offering. So something that both of the projects are offering are speed and scalability. Solana is very well known for its high transaction speed and low transaction fees. So it can process up to 65,000 transactions per second, as we just said previously, and it achieves the finality of this in around about 8 to 12 seconds. They're also aiming to provide a scalable blockchain network using only one layer. So Solana is currently run on just one layer. So the idea behind this is that a smaller number of powerful and fast computers maintains the network and it's able to store large amounts of data that it creates. So Internet Computer, on the other hand, claims to be the first blockchain that can run at web speed. So this means that it can process transactions quickly as the internet itself. So it can achieve up to 280,000 transactions per second on the main layer 1, with finality achieved in as little as 1 second. So Internet Computer's partitioning into subnet blockchains is what allows the network to scale infinitely. So each subnet blockchain is capable of processing, updating query calls independently from other subnets. And this means that pretty much the entire network can easily be scaled by simply adding more subnets onto the network. So on this one, I have to vote ICP because I don't think it needs a lot of explanation, but any project that can infinitely scale is a big win for me. So another thing that is important that we discuss is the inflation to deflation of each of these. So Solana does have a fixed inflation rate of 8% per year. So this is used to reward validators and token holders who all participate in the network. And the inflation rate for this decreases over time as more tokens get staked. So this, in effect, leads to a deflationary effect on the token price. Now, with ICP, it is a very, very similar system. So inflation is achieved via governance rewards and node rewards for this. And the deflation is achieved by converting ICP into cycles to run software canisters. And also, you can stake the ICP, which obviously takes tokens out of circulations, and they can lock them for, I think it's up to 8 years. So it takes it out for years. I think with this one, on this particular part, it's a draw. They both have very, very similar systems with inflation and deflation. So neither one of them really comes out on top for this one. So another thing that I tend to look at first before deciding on where to invest is the circulating supply of the coins. So ICP currently has a circulating supply of 455,148,000 831 tokens. And it has a market cap currently at the time of recording of 35,762,945,744, compared to Solana, who currently has 432,548,411 in circulating supply, and their market cap is at 39,706,969,265. So there's only roughly a $23 million difference in the circulating supply of these. So I do think that this goes to show that with the recent backing for ICP from retailers, that this really does have a chance to play catch up with Solana in that regard. I think that personally, for me, ICP is going to be the winner in this one. This is just based purely on the smaller market cap at current prices. This does make it a much riskier play, but higher risk can lead to higher rewards. Don't advocate that mindset. So I think one of the most important comparisons to make, and what you should be doing in your research, is looking into the technology and vision of each one. So these are quite vastly different, which is why I think they're quite tricky to compare, or I find them a little bit difficult to compare when their end goals are not the same. So it's not like comparing sort of XRP to XLM, who both have kind of very, very similar projects. So Internet Computer is a set of protocols that allow independent data centers around the world to come together, and they offer a decentralized alternative to the current centralized internet cloud providers. So this in turn provides more power and more security to the users, as there's no way for like the websites, etc. to be shut down by anybody else. There can be no interference from anybody else. Now, Solana, it is a blockchain platform that is designed to host decentralized applications, and it is built for speed and scalability. And its main benefit is its considerably lower fees than, for example, the Ethereum blockchain. Now, for me on this one, again, ICP has to win it. There's not one single crypto project currently that I can think of that is as advanced in its technology as what ICP is. So ICP is built to offer an alternative to our current internet whilst being decentralized. And in my opinion, Solana is not currently offering anything that is drastically different to the likes of Ethereum to make it stand out more. So ICP gets my vote on this one also. Now, the bull run potential, I think, is something that everybody's interested in. I think it's kind of the main focus of cryptocurrency just now, is where things are going to go in the bull run. Whilst we can't predict it, we can take a random guess. So Solana is blowing up recently, and I think that this is mainly due to kind of the meme tokens that we can see poking their heads out from the bear market. Solana has also had some serious recovery over the last year, so they've had a lot of hurdles that they've had to overcome, but they have done so and they have come out on top so far. One of their major announcements was their partnership with Visa, so this is obviously a huge boost for it. And there's also the fact that the total locked value of SOL is slowly creeping back up again, which obviously helps to drive the price back up again. For ICP personally, whilst I feel it will do well in the bull run, definitely, I feel like it might not reach its full potential until much further down the line. So ICP is a very long-term project due to the technology involved in it and the sheer scale of what it is that they are trying to build. So I do think it will do fantastic, and I think it will produce great returns for investors, but I think it's going to fall behind Solana a little bit in terms of the price the coins can reach. So Solana for me is going to win on this one just because, first of all, it's way ahead on where the token already is. So in terms of price, it's obviously going to go much higher. I think a lot of people are still very skeptical of ICP. There's still a lot of people that believe it's kind of this big elaborate scam. So that might hold it back a little bit, and it might be until it develops further that more people will invest in. So whilst I do think ICP is going to do good, it's going to have to go to Solana. So one very important thing to consider is the negatives. Now, I prefer to be super positive and only look at the good in things. However, this has not done me very well in investing so far. So for the sake of balance, we're going to discuss some of the negatives. So we will start off with Solana for this one. So with Solana, its validation process is currently more centralized than other blockchains, with a smaller number of validators on this. So obviously, when something is more centralized, it means there's more interference from the outside. So that falls into the negative category for it. They also have limited smart contract functionality. So it is capable of running smart contracts, but it is limited in its functionality for this compared to other projects also. And Solana has notoriously experienced a lot of outages due to spam effectively clogging up the system, which has make it go into like a kind of blackout, I suppose. So that's obviously a big negative, as it does affect everything. And over to the ICP side, there's a couple of negatives with ICP. The complexity of it. Internet computer technology is relatively complex, which could make it more difficult for some users and developers to use for building, etc. on it. And they do have a limited ecosystem just now. So obviously it is a very new project. It's being built and developed on continuously, but right now it is relatively small and it has fewer decentralized applications and partnerships than other platforms. So it's not a huge negative on it, but it does fall into the kind of downside category. And there's obviously the notorious chart. So I think if new people coming into cryptocurrency, or maybe people who have just started looking into ICP, see the chart and they look at it over all time, it can put the spookies in people sometimes because it looks terrible. There's no getting away from that, but there's also no fixing that. So obviously it got off to a very bad launch in terms of its IPO, purely due to FTX deliberately manipulating the price of it before the launch. So effectively, I believe before the launch of the coin, I might get this wrong because I didn't look into it too deeply, but I believe before the initial IPO launch, so the initial public launch, that they ran futures on it 3 or 4 days before at FTX, which effectively released it before it was supposed to be, which then drove the price of it sky high. And then I think they shorted it, which then caused obviously mass dumping, so the coin went straight back down. So the chart pretty much goes like this and then like this. So it doesn't look great. And that is a big negative, especially for new investors coming in who don't want to be investing in projects that look like they've pumped and dumped. So I don't think anybody can really win on the negatives, so I'm not going to go there on it. But personally, in my opinion, I think ICP wins on having the least amount of negatives, purely because 2 of theirs can be solved: the complexity if people learn it, and the limited ecosystem. They're new, they're building. That's probably going to get rectified as well. And the chart launch, the chart appearance is out of their control. So ICP wins on that one. Personally, I think both of these projects are extremely strong. They both have good backing for them, and I want them both to do very well. The first reason for that is because the potential shown in ICP is infinite, and it really is breaking the boundaries of blockchain technology. And number 2 is because the recovery and the hurdles that Solana has overcome, and the way that it's continued to try and build and expand during the bear market, is extremely admirable. But as always, it is cryptocurrency, and quite frankly, there's just no telling how things are going to go sometimes. So let me know in the comments below which one you are backing, which one you want to do well. Who do you think wins, Solana or ICP? I have a feeling I know the answer to it, but I'm going to ask anyway. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.